Mm.
Everybody was so much enthralled with this idea that Trump was a racist. They wanted to put Biden in office, but Biden is actually the person who authored all of the actual paperwork that allows the racial atrocities to happen. So when we look at the overactive police and how they doing things to black folks in the communities, but they still getting off, and we look at the guy who shot this guy, and we look at his record and we see he got multiple times where he done shot unarmed people or he done over beat up people and all this. It's Joe Biden that wrote the laws into place to allow for cops to be able to do that. So when he comes into office and in the first 3 months, he drops bombs on Africa, he orders 2 million vaccines, and he does all these things that people now don't agree with. I'm telling people, wait a minute, don't you dare step away from your vote like that. Y'all voted him in. Y'all are his co-defendants. Everybody that voted Biden in, whatever Biden does, now you need to wear that on your jacket because you put him in to do what he's doing. Same thing with Brother Polite. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Once people been telling you, hey, watch out over there, watch out over there, watch out over there, and y'all blindly pushing forward like, no, we got to support, we got to do this. Okay, well, just know what you're supporting. So when this thing happens, all of you supporters are a part of this. You all supported the smaller things that he got away with until this thing happened. And listen, he's smart enough and slick enough that he might find his way out of this until the next thing and the next thing. Like, the people are the ones that we got to blame. We can't. Consciousness means we got to be awake. To be awake means that we have to be accountable for what we're doing. We got to be alert. We're supposed to be the smart folks passing information around. So when we pass the information around, it goes without saying that we're supposed to act on the information. So now everybody has skeletons in their closet, just like the brother just came up and said, I'm not running for office. I got skeletons in my closet. Of course you do. You're coming out of poverty. We all do. But there's a difference between having skeletons in your closet than being the boogeyman. Like, this is some other, you a predator that's, so, hey, people got to do self-checking right now. That's what this is about. How many people right now are thinking, man, we've got to support this brother against these malicious charges, and we got to really get to the bottom of this, and we got to debunk these, these lying ladies out here. I'm like, wow. So we getting ready to turn the community against the 14-year-old that went through this process so that we could still live in a delusional state of thinking. Like, this is the reason why people go from, 15% body fat to 30% body fat to 40% body fat. When they came out with this whole thing about fat people, fat shaming and all these. When I was 260 pounds, the thing that got me to begin to lose weight was looking in the mirror going, oh my God, you're fat. It's disgusting. You're horrible looking. Get your life together. You're getting ready to die out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, get your life together. I had to shock myself awake to move towards action. People are not separating information and action. You got to get informed so that you can have better action. If you're getting informed, but you're not doing anything with information, you're wasting everyone's time and energy. You're wasting your own money. So people getting into this thing where, oh, we fat shaming. No, if you don't call yourself fat, chances are you're not going to make the life-changing decisions that you need till it's too late. So then people like me, herbalists, trainers, nutritionists, we get the Hail Mary phone calls because, we living in a world where we can't fat shame and all this and this and that. So we get emergency Hail Mary calls where it's, oh, my mom's got four days to live, and my sister this, and come on, Enqi, you came late with the package, and you were so late with the package. Hold on, bro, this is not medicine.
This ain't got nothing to do with the package. You weren't properly preparing yourself.
Facts, because I keep telling people when I tell my story, the biggest, most important part of my story that they miss, when I tell about Amber and how I was able to heal Amber and get Amber together and all that, was that I went to my cabinet to put together Mama Atomics. I went to my cabinet to put together things for her. When the emergency hit, I didn't go online to order things. I already had cabinets full of things. So these things that people have, you're supposed to get them now when you don't need them. So when it hits the fan, you good. Last year, everybody was in a panic frenzy when the thing hit everybody. Oh my God, what we gonna do? Enqi, hurry up and send me the whoa. I'm not getting ready to hurry up and send you nothing. You're gonna be right in line with everybody else. Your order gonna come up when it come up.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So
yes.
You are a naturalist, an herbalist, a fitness trainer, like all of that into who you are. And your teeth are absolutely amazing. They're pearly white. What are you using?
Thank you. An expensive ass dentist.
You are currently selling ounces and pounds, but not the ounces and pounds people think of. You are now selling sea moss and making a killing off of this. Please tell us, like, what is sea moss? Why is it important? Why is it a new phase, craze? Where did it come from? How do we get it? And do you need some affiliates?
Always that. But no, so the whole sea moss thing, I've been selling, I've been using, first of all, I've been on to sea moss since I was like a little kid. My mom's had a Jamaican boyfriend named Stretch. Him and his brother E used to be running wild in my neighborhood up in the Bronx. And they used to have like a whole bunch of rosters in my crib every day. And that's what they used to make in the kitchen, cook up. You know what I'm saying? So they used to make different types of sea mosses and different types of green, like all kind of vegan and vegetarian stuff, but they didn't call it vegan and vegetarian. Those was words that came into my, later on. So that was like my first awareness of it. Now, the pop culture. So when I eventually start making compounds and herbs and all that, it's listed in the ingredients in like 4 or 5 different formulas that I have. It's a part of what I do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even more than that, probably about 10. But it wasn't like a thing for sea moss. I didn't start getting loud and really speaking to sea moss specifically until so many goofy people started to mess up the sea moss industry. So because sea moss had got so popular, you had so many fly-by-night people coming out of nowhere, like marketing sea moss. So I had started to see sea moss advertisements that looked like they were selling pounds a week. Like people was online like, yo, yeah, I got the sea moss for the low. And yo, I got this Dr. Sebi approved Chondrus crispus. And I'm looking on the videos. I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? That ain't Chondrus crispus. And so I started digging in. I'm like, wait a minute, these guys don't even know what they selling. So you got guys that's selling gracilaria, calling it Chondrus crispus. Guys that have
you don't get to just say these words and move on. Educate us, teach us, wake us up a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, just stop me wherever I need to be stopped. So the first thing is sea moss, nutritional sea moss is not actually moss. So the mosses that we use nutritionally, which are gracilaria, these are the popular ones anyway. You got guso. Well, actually, guso is not popular. Guso is used like as a fake, but it's an algae. You got guso, you got gracilaria, you got cotton, you got bladderwrack, and you got Chondrus crispus, and then you got like a couple of different fake Chondrus crispuses. But these are all algae. So that's the first thing, is that these are all algae. So that's the first little caveat to studying and figuring out what it is that we're doing. Sea moss and Irish moss are the 2 popular names that they use out there to sell these under. Sea moss refers to your Caribbean or your warm water algae. Irish moss refers to your bladderwracks, your Chondrus crispus. Those are your cold water algae because they come from a northern climate. When Ireland didn't have no food, they ate the stuff that washed up on the beach. So that's where the name Irish moss came from, because this was an algae that just washed up on the shores of Ireland in the pounds and the tons. So Now, not knowing really anything about it, a lot of these goofy guys, well, I'm going to say somebody was an ingenious scam artist. They came up with the term called golden sea moss. So this ingenious scam artist found a way to make the dead sea moss actually the target of nutritional holistic healers or people that's trying to become, get it back. So yellow. So when you get yellow or golden sea moss, you already got scammed, because the sea moss that they're telling you about doesn't grow like that in its natural habitat. You get Chondrus crispus, it's purple almost to the point where you can't even. It's so red. It's so dark purple. It looked like brick. It looked like bricks. That's the color it looked like. When you get bladderwrack, it's brown.
Do you have any of these sea mosses that we can see? Like when we go and pay these bills for commercial break, you can go and grab. He said he about to go grab some right now.
I got stuff all over the crib. I can go grab some.
Why is it so expensive? So I know here in Massachusetts and Boston, we have a couple people that do like sea moss drinks, like with passion fruit.
That's fake. Hold on. That's what they selling there is fake. They frauding. This is one of the reasons why people are so upset with me right now. All them people selling all them products is frauding. They all frauding people right now. That's all fake. That's not real. I mean, some of it is real, but they calling it by different names, and it's different. Like, it's not being marketed properly because people don't know what they got. All right, so this is some gracilaria. This is some golden.
Hold on, you just said golden was fake because that's not how it grows in natural habitat.
But I got it. I got it. I can't discuss things if I don't have them to test and play with and show people the difference. And so I goes into deep detail to make sure that people, like when they leave away from my page, they inform, they know the difference between
what's real. Let's say, for instance, I just ordered some sea moss. I'm going to go pick it up later on today. How do I know what I got is real? Because the way that it's being sold here in Boston is like, it's in mason jars, already cooked up, already.
Oh, no, I went crazy on them folks. A lot of them is selling people poisonous sea moss. So it even gets to a space where it becomes dangerous. So first thing you got to understand about the sea moss is the industrial industry, the big boys. All right, so first things first, this is gracilaria.
Hold on, I'm going to make you big so we can see it big.
Yeah, this is gracilaria right here.
And it looks mad purple, and it just looked like tumbleweed.
Right, so this is gracilaria. This is the natural color of gracilaria. Now, here's your sea moss. Here is the color that it comes out of the water. Here's the color that they sell it to people in the package.
Hold on. I need all of that all over again. I need all three of them.
Here's the color that the sea moss comes out the water.
Hold on. Keep it in front of the camera so we can get all the details so we can see it.
Right. That's the one that come out the water, but somehow this is what comes to your house in the package. See? And they telling you that this is the golden. So in your mind, you think that this has the same level of nutrients as this. And it does not, because all of the nutrients inside sea moss is attached to the pigments, and the pigments is the color. The color tells you the rate of photosynthesis. It tells you the level of alkalinity. Like, simple. If you take a regular alkalinity test, it goes through these colors. And your most alkaline is when you get to the purple. That's when you letting you know it's over 8.9, and that's about electron donation. How many electrons it has to donate. That all is tied to the type of light that it absorbs and the rate of photosynthesis. So you can see that as it dies, the rate of photosynthesis obviously slows down, the pigment fades out, and so you lose the nutrients. Now,
so the purple one, really quickly. So the purple one that we get from you, in the yellow one we get from everybody else. When we get this purple one.
Now, wait, look, I want to show you this because this is what I'm focusing in on. This is Chondrus crispus. This is what Dr. Sebi was teaching about. This is Chondrus crispus. Chondrus crispus doesn't even look like these. See, these look wiry and like spaghetti noodles. Chondrus crispus looks like little tree branches.
So hold on, let me ask you a dumb question, and it feel dumb, but I feel like a lot of people, when I go to the beach and all that come up to the shore, can I eat any of that? Like, can I just go to the beach and get some?
It's already dying. So that's the thing about getting the yellow. The reason that it's yellow is because the sun bleaches it. When it lands on the shore, it's already dying. When you see it floating in the water, it's already dying because the moss needs to be attached to rocks somewhere.
So the ones that attach to the rocks, can I eat that one?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can grab that. And what you're looking for when you find it, you want to find a lot of oysters wherever you find your moss at. So you really got to go out into the ocean and go into the ocean water to harvest your sea moss. Now, the crazy thing about that is this. I had to raise money, a lot of money, to really put this whole thing just started one thing after another by accident. So I started finding out that people was buying fake sea moss from Amazon to cut real sea moss. So I started raising hell about that. I'm like, yo, nobody knows what y'all doing. This is crazy. I'm not taking part in this shit. I'm about to blow y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to go stream on y'all. So when I started going in, explaining to people the difference between the fake and the real sea moss, people was like, well, where can we get the real sea moss? I was like, well, I don't sell it. I'm just telling you so you know better. And they was like, yeah, but you got to sell some because nobody got it. So then I started raising money once I found out what the hustle was, that like these guys, you got a lot of guys in the Caribbean, they doing this farming thing where they taking bottles out the garbage can, strings out the garbage can, and they literally growing sea moss on strings from the garbage can. They got people smoking Newports. They got crackheads, winos dealing with your sea moss. They putting it in warehouses where rats and squirrels and dogs pee on the shit. And like, it's so crazy. I was like, okay, so I'm going to deal with this. I need money. So I'm like, yo, I told people, look, if y'all really want me to do this sea moss thing, what we need to do is be able to find somebody as a supplier that we could trust. We could go out there. We could inspect where they getting it, how they getting it, everything. I need to go to the source. So I really got on some Frank Lucas shit with it. And when I went out into the ocean,
And you got scuba gear? You was out there with your scuba gear?
I was out there with my gear on. It's not scuba gear, but it's definitely a certain type of clothes you got to wear. I even had my babies with me. Them joints is like 20 pounds. Like they like 15 pounds. You got to wear the suit to go out into the ocean. But what I found out, because I wound up going to I was able to, shout out to Jay, shout out to Rod. Those are my partners. Those are the guys that really showed me everything that like opened my eyes. In the last 100 years, there has never, ever, ever been a holistic healer to ever go into the ocean and get the actual algae from its environment. And I know because I was privileged to go to the Irish Moss Museum. I went to speak to the families with Rod and Jay, the families. They left the records. I was able to read the records and see who's actually been mossing. Like, this is an industry. Who's actually been in the ocean? So in the last 100 years, there's only been 3 black guys that ever go into the ocean to get algae. Ever.
Do you know their name?
What's their name? I'm the third one. Jay, Rodney, and Enqi.
Oh, so your partner. Yo, y'all in history now.
Correct. And Jay and Rodney took me out there, but it's the white guys that been running the industry all this time that put them 2 on, and they took me out there, and so once I seen all that, a lot more stuff started to come into play. So one of the things that Jay told me, he's like, yo, if you really want to blow this thing wide open, this whole sea moss scam, you need to get you a grinder and start grinding down your own sea moss so you can sell powder. I was like, this is getting too messy. I don't want to keep selling those. Sea moss stink. I got a whole room in my house full with sea moss. I'm like, no, I don't want to keep getting deeper and deeper into sea moss. You know what I'm saying? But so I get the grinder, and immediately, let me see if I can share my let me share a page with y'all because I got a post. It went crazy.
You see it on the bottom left hand, the bottom where it say share. You can share your screen.
All right, bet. So let me show you this. Because so this is my Instagram page, people. If y'all want to come subscribe, Dr. Enqi right here. That's my Instagram. It's not deep. I don't got like underscores and crazy stuff. It's just my name, right? But this is what I had did. This was the very first day that I grinded down. The very first day I grinded down my own sea moss. This is what I grinded it down on camera live so that people could see me do it. Now, I was doing that, to be honest, because I had just got the grinder. So I thought the grinder was a dope machine. So I was doing as I never did like an unboxing kind of video. So I'm like, okay, I got this grinder. I'm about to open this shit up and videotape me using it. So when I grinded the Chondrus crispus down, the Irish moss, it was like a handful of Chondrus crispus with a little few pieces of bladderwrack in there. I grind it down, and you see the color of what I grinded down all the way on the left where it says Blue Magic. Immediately, I got a problem because I've been buying sea moss powder my whole life, and it always looked like one of the two right there. In fact, I went to my cabinet, and that's where I got those two from. Those are two sea mosses that you can order online, one of which is Star West Botanicals, the other which is a popular person's version of Dr. Sebi's mixture, where they sell you like the sea moss powder mixed with the bladderwrack. I ain't going to say who the person is, but one of them is just the regular sea moss. The other one is a mixture with Dr. Sebi formula. And I said to myself, yo, this is a scam. We done been scammed out of probably hundreds of millions of dollars. It's impossible for either one of these to be Chondrus crispus because I just grinded it down in front y'all live and you see what the color look like. So that means this tan looking grayish powder right here is one of two things. Either this is not Chondrus crispus at all, or somebody grinded down some Chondrus crispus and stepped on it 1,000 times with who knows whatever is in it. So but whatever the case is, I know that the stuff we've been buying all these years is clearly not Chondrus crispus, because if it was, it would look like what's on the left. And that's Chondrus crispus. And I grinded it down on camera live in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then it got crazier because the way that I processed it from the time that we pulled it out the ocean, when I put mines in water, let me see if I could pull it up and let people see. When I put mines in the water, hold on. When I put mines in water, the colors changed. So I realized the antioxidant level was even way different.
Again, so you can't just be saying words, Enqi. You got to break it down for us. Say, okay, what are you saying? Oxidization? Like, come on, scientists.
Okay, but look right there. So you can see me grinding it down. This is me grinding it down. And then I'm going to pull it out. Now, the antioxidants, right? When people talk about the benefits of sea moss, most of the benefits of sea moss comes from the antioxidants or from the gel or the sulfated polysaccharides that's inside the algae. That's the favorite part of people. Like, we gonna turn this into gel. Now, earlier when I was saying people selling people poisonous sea moss, carrageenan, and you can look this up for your people at home. Carrageenan will cause you to get problems in your intestine, and it could potentially contribute to tumors or cancer if you don't add heat to it. Heat is what breaks down the carrageenans and turns them into gel for you the right way. You got a lot of people that's promoting that you're supposed to have sea moss raw. You're not supposed to have sea moss raw because the carrageenan is poisonous that way. You're not supposed to have sea moss raw, especially when these goofy guys, 9 out of 10 of them, is soaking tap water into the sea moss. They tell you all the time, let your sea moss soak overnight. These goofy guys, if they understood what the algae does, the algae swells up because it absorbs the water. So if you put in tap water that's loaded with pharmaceutical drugs and mosquito larvae and all kinds of other stuff that's in tap water, well, when you let that soak into the sea moss overnight, you got poisonous sea moss right there. The carrageenan is not cooked, and you done put all the chemicals from the tap water into the sea moss. So people selling that as a gel, that's like a poisonous gel right there. So that's not. So anyway, so to get to the antioxidants, the color determines the antioxidant level. The darker the color is, the richer the color is, the higher the antioxidant level is. No. Let the screen show the because it's going to get to the part where, like, this is just showing me live grinding it down, and I'm gonna do a comparison between what I grinded down and what I got online from other people. And the crazy thing is about this is everybody that watches this or hears this, they know that they've been taken advantage of too, because they know the color of the Irish moss / Chondrus crispus powder that they've been buying. And you had to have, and it's like, we all had cognitive dissonance. That's the same cognitive dissonance that's allowing us to deal with these other situations and not recognize what's in front of us. Why would we have a purple plant or a brown plant and powderize it and then it's a tan powder? Like, that don't even make sense. A purple algae should make purple powder. A brown algae should make brown powder. A green algae should make green powder.
So I just really quickly, I want to briefly discuss, like, I'm thinking about sea moss tings here in Boston. I'm thinking about sea moss and more. Like, I'm thinking about all of the companies here in Boston and whether or not they know what they're engaged in. As far as, like, you said that at some point, like what you've been purchasing this whole time from these two individuals, one famous, you're not going to say their name, but in the other one,
it's everyone.
So I want to be clear that if you do not have a purple sea moss, or if you do not have a deep colored sea moss powder, you're not necessarily being taken advantage of, but the person may not have proper knowledge.
Well, I would say you're half correct, half wrong. You're definitely being taken advantage of. So you try to put a caveat in there for the people. No. Now, I will say that it may not be on purpose, because the person selling it to you may not know any better. So I agree with you on that part. You're right there. The person that you're getting it from may not maliciously be saying, I'm getting ready to take advantage of these people.
But we are definitely being scammed. If your sea moss ain't purple, you being scammed. Well, and so, hold on, but what, Dr. Enqi, you said that the white one is like when it's dead. Like, so you go into the ocean, you and your people go to the ocean, you come out and you have this fresh, like, it's a difference between going to the store and getting, going to a farmer's market with a farmer who just cut the broccoli and having broccoli that way, versus going to the supermarket and getting broccoli that way, versus in a can. So
listen, it's even crazier, because once I started to, when I didn't know any better, like everybody else, which was maybe, and when I say didn't know any better, I still knew volumes more about sea moss than the average person, but I didn't know about the industrial side. See, that's the thing that we separate in our mind. We think because we learn about the nutrients that we learn about the process of harvesting it, growing it, storing it, and all those things. So I didn't know anything about what they was doing. So one of the craziest, most basic things that I had a problem with after I started learning was how many people's hands, like, this is something you would never think of. How many people's hands is on your sea moss before it goes in your blender? How many people's hands is on your sea moss? And then what type of hands are those? Now, for everybody, that's not an issue. But I'm one of those people that if I go to your vegan restaurant, I'm going to ask the people you have in the back making my food, I'm getting ready to ask them if they vegan. I don't want to go to the back of your vegan restaurant and see that your chef is sitting in the back with a loose Newport and a can of Mad Dog 2020, and this is the guy you got preparing my vegan meal. So when I find out that there's like 50 hands that's touching this sea moss, that the sea moss is not coming out of the ocean. What they're doing is finding little places where the sea moss washes up, and they paying crackheads to hop out with garbage bags. They look like they're doing community service on side the highway. They're paying crackheads to hop out with garbage bags and just bag up the sea moss that's laying on side the road. This is why they made the idea that golden sea moss is a good thing. Like, there is no nutritional golden sea moss. There's no nutritional yellow sea moss. None of them grows yellow. When they get to the yellow, they already started the process of dying. And one of the things that I highlight about mines is that mines is so well taken care of that we still have our blue pigment intact. And the blue pigment is the most volatile out of all of the pigments in Chondrus crispus. So it's the first one to be destroyed by sunlight. It's the first one to be destroyed by air. It's not just the sunlight, it's the air that starts to oxidize your algae. Remember, algae is underwater. They underwater, so you can't even see them with the naked eye. So you got to go underwater to find the habitat. You got to go underwater to see how much oysters is clustered around each group of algae, because the amount of oysters that's clustered around the algae determines how clean that water is that the algae grow in. Because the oysters is not going to live in the poison chemical, soup type of water. And the oysters is the ones that filters the water so that it could be clean for the algae to grow in.
Okay, so pause 5 seconds. So my mother lives in Plymouth, right? And there's mad rocks, like big ass boulders. And what you're describing is
it's her neighborhood.
Basically, it's like everything that I grew up on, right? And so now I'm like, yo, how tell me how to go to the ocean and go get this and eat it. Like, how do I go if I find it? I go to Jamaica. Just came back from Jamaica. I go back
Irish
to.
moss doesn't grow there.
It's crazy because all Jamaicans drink is Irish moss.
They bugging. They drinking sea moss. So sea moss grows abundantly down there. Your gracilaria, your cotton, that is the type of stuff that grows in the warm water. Irish moss grows in the cold water. That's the Atlantic Ocean. So that's North America, Ireland, Greenland, Europe. That's the algae that grows in those climates.
All right, so I'm in Ireland. I'm on the beach, and there's a rock, a whole bunch of rocks, whole bunch of oysters. I didn't even know them things were oysters. I know what you're talking. Like, I didn't know they were oysters.
Because it's like little black.
Yeah, little black things.
Spongy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like dirt.
And I take it out of the water, which is so it's actually like entangled in with the oysters. It's like cemented to the damn rock. Once you do take it off, you do get it loose. What do you do with it then?
Put it right in your mouth. No, at that point, at that point, you take it to the house and, you can start to do what you want to do with it.
What do I do as far as heat is concerned? Because you told me that I have to do something with heat.
Yes. So we want to boil it. If you're going to use it for gel, right? Depends on what you're going to use it for, right? So if you're going to powder it, then you want to keep it dry, obviously, or capsule it. But if you're going to make gel out of it, you want to cook it. The different algae, you got to cook them different. Cotton is like the most affordable. You could take a pinch of cotton and make like 50 ounces of gel. Chondrus crispus is not the same way. Chondrus crispus, you have to have almost the same amount of Chondrus crispus as water, and you have to cook it till it's flank and slimy, and then you drop that whole thing in the blender. The cotton, you actually create the gel in the pot when you're cooking it. So it's just a different, you got to cook the algae a little bit different. But
so first of all, I need to know what I even got my hands on. So I'm going to take a picture, send it to you, and then we're going to work through it that way. So if seriously,
bladderwrack has testicles on it. So bladderwrack, it's really big. It looks like a cross between Chondrus crispus and kelp, but it has really big bumps on it. And those bumps is like the plant's reproductive, it's like testicles on it.
So can you give us the name of each one? Can we give us the names again? Because I want to Google them and pull them up.
Okay, so you have bladderwrack, and bladderwrack is probably the best algae for fat loss. Right, so if I got to highlight one thing for each of these to make it quick, I'll do it like that. Bladderwrack is probably the best for your metabolism. Chondrus crispus is also a cold water algae. So these are Irish mosses. Chondrus crispus and bladderwrack. Those are Irish mosses. Those are cold water, northern climate. There you go. But actually, this is not good right here. So let's find some other pictures, because this is stuff that's out of the water. So this ain't how it's going to look in the water. It's going to look way darker. Keep going down. That don't look good either. That right there look better. Hold on. Go up. That guy with the milk and honey, that look a little bit better. That right there. That look a little bit better because that look darker. See, once it start getting light, like the one that's on the Dr. Axe post, like go up a little bit. No, up. That right there. Like that's it, but that's already too sun exposed. That's already losing its color and pigment. So you want it like that. You want it darker. And you see the up closer to his thumb is getting darker. So them parts towards the end is the parts that sometimes will be out of the water, exposed to the sun, even while it's attached. So yeah, look at that. Oh, stop right there. Lipotech. You see that? That's how bladderwrack's supposed to look, dark like that. See, that's like right out of the water right there. That's
Do
like
you
right
know? I'm a little. I gotta scratch my head on this one, like for real, because I can't tell you. I grew up on this, like Enqi, dead ass. I grew up on this, and not like grew up eating it, but grew up swimming in it, playing in it, like this.
A lot of us did.
And this is minerals. These are nutrients. This is what we should be eating. So for this one,
bigger than that.
Hold on.
This is bigger than that. Listen, let me tell you something. This is bigger than that. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. I'm like, yo, we tapped into $1 trillion industry right now. We could really run up a real bag right now if we really want to run up a bag. Like, this is where the bag is at. All of the pharmaceutical antivirals comes from algae. So when the thing first hit and Trump came to the people and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this medication. We know what the medication was. I ain't gonna say the name, but I immediately was like, well, wait a minute, guys, we already been on that. That's inside my detox. That's nothing but an extract from the cinchona tree. And they was like, cinchona tree? You don't know what you're talking about, Enqi. I'm like, all right, well, look it up and see if hydrochloroquinine, it doesn't come from the cinchona bark. That's seltzer water. Like, I'm like, yo, y'all are bugging. This is not new information. It's people just not exposed to things in a certain light because it makes money for people to not know what these things are.
How you say cinchona bark? How you spell that?
CINCHONA, cinchona bark. Or you could just type in quinone and look up quinone, because they also use the same thing to cut heroin with. So the same thing they use to cut heroin is the same thing they use to they threw it on the table as a cure for the situation. It's what they use to fight malaria. So they use it to fight malaria.
It says it right here. No, cinchona bark is not a cure for coronavirus. Look at that right there.
Yeah. Because that's where the extract for the quinone comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. This is the bark that you make tea out of. And out of this one little piece, you can make 70 cups of tea.
Of course. The seltzer water comes from that. Like, that's literally the history of seltzer water. Started with that tree.
Okay, so bladderwrack is one.
But wait, it goes even deeper than that though. If you ever ate ice cream before, you didn't know that you was eating sea moss. It's sea moss that makes the ice cream like fluffy the way ice cream is. It's because they put algae in it. Like, so algae is everywhere. When you have yogurt, like all that stuff is made out of algae. Like all of the, even in the hospital, when you go to the hospital, the number one thing that propped up the hospital industry for like 100 years is povidone iodine. Povidone iodine is kelp and bladderwrack. That's all they do is kelp and bladderwrack extract is how they make the povidone iodine. When you see a scientist and they have the little Peachtree dishes, the Peachtree dishes have alginate in it. Alginate comes from Gracilaria and some of these other like algae. Like it's algae that's in the even the scientific experiment dish. So every time you see a scientific experiment done, they use algae for that. Like algae is everywhere, and we got such a grip on the industry in terms of the real-time usage of it, thanks to the rosters and the dreads with all of the health food stores, and then later on, Dr. Sebi bringing our attention back to the CMOS. Like, we got the people, but we don't really understand we sitting on $1 trillion industry. And so I'm trying to show people like, hey, wakey, while y'all out there running around trying to figure out what to do, nature already gave us the solution right here. You get your health. People keep saying health is wealth, but they're not putting the two and two together. I'm like, the health is wealth is right here. You know what I'm saying? But the problem that we have as a people is we always try to cut out the person that introduced us. So because people say, oh, I'm going to do this, like I'm going to cut Enqi out and do, like, why would I get it from Enqi and support Enqi when I could just find a way to cut him out and do it myself? That's the reason why we don't get nowhere, because we trying to reinvent the wheel so that somehow we could be sitting. Like if you even go back to conscious community, if you listen to the conscious community, that's why I'm unpopular. And I had to tell people after a while, like, I'm not conscious. I don't, whatever these guys are, I'm something else. So don't put me with these guys, because I realized a long time ago, these guys didn't want to erase oppression. They didn't want to free people from being oppressed. They just wanted to replace your oppressor. So I realized there was a difference between people that want to free you from oppression than people who want to become your oppressor. So that's the same thing going on with a lot of when we look in the business world. We can't get money together because we got 100 people that's trying to be the CEO, and people don't really understand African economics. If you own 20% or even 10%, it's people that's millionaires because they own 1% of, Elon Musk company, or they owned 1% of Apple when it blew up. 1% made these people millionaires and billionaires. We got goofy people in the community that will do anything to become 100% owners of something that ain't making no money. What sense does that make? You got 100% of $25, my guy. Like, what are you going to do with that? I would personally like to have 1% of 100 million, then have 100% of $25, 100% of $1,000. You made $1,000 last month, bro. My mortgage almost $3,000. There's nothing I could do with $1,000. Like it's just we not understanding the other side to some of this stuff. And I'm trying to show people, I'm like, bro, the pharmaceutical industry is built on top of algae. The science community is built on top of algae. The fuel, we forget where we get oil and gas. Oil and gas comes from algae. That's why they're trying to do the new version of biofuel from algae. Our atmosphere, like literally the clouds, our atmosphere comes from algae. Our oxygen comes from algae. Like literally, this is all run. So I'm like, yo, we got a tremendous bag sitting right here. And guess what? The only 3 black mossers, the only 3 people that have been black to go in the ocean to actually get sea moss is me and the 2 guys that took me out there.
And if you are in Boston and you're looking for the real sea moss, you can contact me at 617-459-0041. Because I'm about to be the plug. Wait for it. Yeah. I'm out here selling pounds like Enqi. Wait for it. Minister Enqi, we come all the way to the top of the hour. We're actually over our time. We didn't pay no bills today, and so I'm going to be in all the trouble. Can we please have you back? Can we please? Because we didn't even talk about everything. We didn't even talk about like other health and wellness and other your whole website.
The next day, whenever. I'm down.
All right, we're kidnapping you. And I'm so serious. So as soon as we come off live, me and you gonna talk because I'm gonna be the authentic sea moss plug here in Boston. Y'all heard it first. 617-459-0041. Go on and put your pre-orders in right now. Text it to me. Pre-orders.
You said let it happen.
Let
right
it happen.
now.
Minister Enqi, what are the prices though? Because I know I went to the website and I didn't quite understand. So you know what? We'll do that next time you come back. We'll go through everything and have a better understanding.
I got like prices, and then I got wholesale prices, and then some of the prices confused because I got like wholesale prices for regular purchases. Like I try to make it super affordable. Once I realized how people were scamming and price gouging, because a lot of these guys got this stuff that looks like ramen noodles that they selling, that they buying for $8 a pound, that they turning around selling for $125 a pound, and they buying it for $8 a pound. The shit is nothing. It's like ramen noodles. It's trash. There's nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is people will buy something and have something in their hand, and then they'll look on Google. And when they go on Google, Google's going to say, oh, well, it's loaded with this many nutrients and this nutrient and that nutrient. The problem is you don't know that what they talking about in Google and what you got in your hand is two different things. What you're looking at in your hand is something that's dead and over processed. What they're talking about in Google when you look it up is something that's at the ideal, pristine condition coming straight out of the ocean. Like that gel right there. That's trash right there. It's a guarantee. That's raw gel. They look at that. They grinded up yellow stuff. They didn't even cook it, and they threw it in a jar. That's terrible right there.
And it's from organic sea moss. They say organic.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about that also, people got to know about that. Organic and some of these other terms, they don't really mean anything. They buzzwords. So organic only means that there's carbon in the structure, and that's everything qualifies as organic. There's organic poisons out there. There's organic poisons. There's as many organic nutrients as organic poisons. Organic in science just means that carbon is up in there.
So why are all these sea mosses white? All of them. Every single last one of them are white, except for like even Dr. Sebi's isn't even like the purple.
No, but see, listen, that's these people putting this stuff on Sebi. Sebi been gone for so long. It's other people that's doing.
Yeah, his family's a piece of shit. His whole family is shitty. Like his whole family.
Off the chain.
I say that because I went to California. I went to the store. I had conversations. This ain't nothing that I heard online. This ain't nothing that I was reading from somebody else told me. I was in California when it was like maybe a month after Sebi died. I was in the store. They put me to the side. I was like, listen. Let me tell you the truth. Pieces of shit.
Yeah, like this ain't it. So it's nothing that people can, it's just crazy. And so when you look, you like, okay, well, this is what is. Look at that right there. Wait, stop right there. Look at Good Food Baddie all the way to your right. Look at that. Look at that right. No, the next one over. That look right. Pure ramen noodles. That's terrible. That's trash right there. There's nothing in that. That right there is a waste of money right there. There's nothing is in that. That's nutritious right there. That's horrible right there. Period. That's dead.
We're gonna have you back. I'm in trouble. I'm 7 minutes over. Enqi, I love you.
Let me show you something else. Make sea moss gel in 3 easy steps. You see that picture over there? Click on that. Well, see, now look at that picture. This is somebody that's being dishonest on purpose. They showing you dark colored sea mosses, and then they showing you a translucent colored gel. So clearly that ain't even the same thing right there. This whole business is crazy. So I just try to clean it up and add some, but people, when you come with the truth and when you bringing people out of a long scam that they've been like, they just attack you. They attack the messenger because they angry that they've been taken advantage of for so long, but they don't have a face to put on it but yours. So yeah, look at that. Trash. And they get ready to make it seem like they doing something nutritious. That's horrible right there. Yeah, that's horrible right there. That's trash. And it's beautiful how she keeps showing you different color joints, but she blending up that translucent shit. Yeah, that's trash right there. Now, if you buying it like that, okay, that's good. You know what I'm saying? If you buying it like that, that's cool. if you're buying it like that raw, so you could do your own thing with it. But that's not Chondrus crispus. So if we looking to really do the things like that Sebi talked to us about, we got to get with that Chondrus crispus, that black, like the Irish mosses. Those are the things that's more nutritive to build the body up and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'll come back. We'll get it in. And we could go through videos and put people on blast. I'm down.
You my type of guy. I love you. Okay, so I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. If you missed any of today's show, please go back. Go to the YouTubes. Mike said he wants some of his, and so me and Enqi gonna talk. I'm gonna be the distributor for here in Massachusetts. I got you. New England. How about New England? Because he's in New York, so I got New England on lock. Yeah. We're gonna call you back. How social medias? Give us your social medias. Give us the website. Everybody wants to come.
Nah. They gotta wait till I come back to get in the info. That's how we do them.
And I'll go ahead and check the calendar and keep you guys posted on when he's coming back. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend so you guys can get all of the information. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you, Enqi. I'm about to call you on my phone.
Yes, ma'am. Peace.
Lord have mercy. Y'all know anybody looking to buy or sell in Massachusetts? 617-459-0041. I got you as your real estate agent. You trying to do some credit repair? I got you. I got the book. We got the course. We got the course. We got the Spanish. We got the audio book. The book y'all didn't want to read. And so I had to create different venues for you guys to get the information. Ta-da! Go to the website. You have access to everything. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mwah.